Welcome to the channel, my friends, and welcome back to my subscribers. My name is Lori, and I van, camp, and travel in my Ford Transit 2023 RV build-out. Today's video, I am camping in Indian Cove Campground in Joshua Tree National Park. I'm exploring the town and sharing what I'm calling my 555 lists of pros and cons, plus tips for not feeling alone while traveling solo. Enjoy, and thanks for coming along. The park is over 795,000 acres. It includes parts of two deserts, the Higher Mojave Desert and the Lower Colorado Desert. The park was established August 10, 1936 as a national monument and October 31, 1994 as a national park. It's cold. It's like 38 degrees right now, and it's supposed to get down to like 28 degrees tonight. So I have my blanket, my sleeping bag, and yeah, my sweatshirt on, all the things. So yeah, hopefully I don't freeze tonight. Good night. It's a pretty sunrise. So this morning, I have to tell you, I went to go turn my propane heater, for the heater switch on outside. So it's dark. I got out of my van. I walked around the van to go turn it on. And I'm parked next to this like tumbleweed desert bush situation. And I lean down, I hear like a hiss. And I like jump back and I'm like, what the heck? Am I hearing things? It's early. I just got up, like maybe. So I'm like, I'm going to try it again. So I walked close to the bush again to turn the switch on, and it was loud. It was like, I jumped and ran back in my van. So now I'm in my van. I didn't get to turn my heater on this morning because the devil is in the bush behind my van. So yeah, if you guys have any suggestions of it's obviously not a snake. It's 30 degrees out. Feels like 20 degrees. It's very cold. So I don't know what animal hisses that lives in the desert. This is the question I have for you all. So yeah, I'm waiting for the sun to come up as it is coming up. And I think I'll try going out there again. Probably just going to build a little fire outside because it's a pretty morning. And yeah, I'm just bundled up in my jacket. Trying to Google what the heck hisses, what animal hisses in the desert. So yeah. Good morning from morning one in Indian Cove Campground in Joshua Tree. I don't know if you guys remember, but this is the little spoon I bought in Wyoming at the Mountain Man Rendezvous. It was hand carved. It brings my heart joy every time I use it. If you're interested at all in those videos, I have a playlist I'll link below. But yeah, my little Mountain Man Rendezvous hand carved spoon. It's the little things, All right, y'all, I'm going to go outside. Whew, you can tell it's cold in the van. You can see my breath. I'm going to go outside and investigate what what demon lives in the bushes behind the van. And I think I'm going to try and start a fire because it's just freezing. And yeah, it's a beautiful morning though. I kind of want to be outside. So y'all are going to go along with me. We're going to go check out what's in this bush. All right. The moon up there. All right. All right, so that's the bush. That was hissing at me. I don't see anything in there. I'm too scared to go too close to it. I don't know, maybe it left. It looks like there's, I don't know. Anyways, beautiful morning. This is my morning view. And yeah, we're gonna start a fire and not go near that bush today. That's the plan. It's such a beautiful morning, no wind. Yesterday it was howling, just super windy. I mean, it was still beautiful, but it was very windy. This morning, still as can be. It's cold, but beautiful. Enjoying this campground, I'm digging it. Got myself a nice little fire this morning. I'm not sure what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna do a lot of filming because there's just some beautiful rock formations out here that I want to video, take pictures of. I keep looking back in that bush. I do not see any movement or an animal, so maybe the animal left after the sun came up. But that was crazy. That was scary. The sun, do 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 do. Here comes the sun, and I say it's all right. So I got up early, had some coffee, enjoyed a fire, and now I kind of want to go into the town of Joshua Tree. I drove through it on the way here, and it just looked super cool. Like maybe some cool thrifting options. I don't know. And then there's just a couple of things I need to pick up in town at the store. So I think my van is ready to go, and we're gonna go head into the town of Joshua Tree, and I'll do some filming. I think it's gonna be fun. So I will see you guys there. Bye. You too. The earliest known residents of the land, the people of the Pintu culture, they sometimes lived in small villages by the oasis of Mara, in what non-native people later called 29 Palms. Joshua trees are a slow-growing evergreen from the yucca species native to the Mojave Desert. Many animals depend on the Joshua tree for food and shelter. Joshua trees dominate the open spaces of the park. Closed. All right, you guys. So I just stopped at the national park station, like ranger station, to ask, as I'm coming back from Joshua Tree from the town, which is super fun, by the way. Joshua Tree definitely has a vibe going on. Oops, let me fix that. But anyways, so I asked what that hissing could have been in the bushes this morning. Like, I'm super curious about that. And what they told me was that it could have been a snake, even though it was like 21 degrees out. It was super cold. That, I find that hard to believe, unless that snake was like in a hole and maybe his like head was poking out and he saw me. I don't know. It could have been a bobcat, or it could have been a mountain lion. So either one of those, any of those, is slightly disturbing and scary. So I think when I go to pull in my campsite, once I get back to my campsite, I'm going to go to the other side. I'm going to back into the other side of the campsite away from that bush. Yeah, because I don't know. It sounded loud to be a snake, honestly. Like, it didn't sound like psst. No, it was like hiss. Like, it was aggressive. And then the second time when I walked close, it was really like, get out of here. I was like, okay. So yeah, she's just told me to be careful. I'm like, okay. She goes, don't leave your van door open. I'm like, okay, absolutely not. So yeah, tonight will be interesting. I'm definitely not going by any of the bushes. And I'll probably jump in my van as soon as it gets dark. And we'll just, respect all the things going on here in Joshua Tree. When I got back to the campground, I decided to go for a walk. The campground is very big with a lot of open space. I enjoyed watching the rock climbers and the beautiful rock formations. Indian Cove Campground, I would definitely highly recommend. Much of what you see in the park today are rocks formed from tectonic plate movements, forced by volcanic material toward the surface. Erosion eventually exposed the harder rocks to debris. That rounded shapes were believed to be formed by groundwater, which filtered through, eroding the corners and edges. Dinner was some ground turkey, onions, and sweet potato that I made into a burrito and then grilled it on the fire. It was actually really, really good. I had some Parmesan cheese on there and it was so warm and it was just perfect for dinner. After dinner, I decided to make cookies, and then I decided to compile my 555 list. So here it goes. I'm going to do 5 negative things about traveling alone, 5 positive things about traveling alone, and then 5 things I do when I get lonely traveling alone. So I'm going to start off with the 5 negative things about traveling alone. So 5 negative things. Number 1, sharing positive experiences with someone while traveling. It is always nice to have someone who shares the experience with you. So sometimes I miss that. If I see something cool or have something happen that's super awesome, and then not to have someone like immediately to share it with is a little bit of a bummer. So sometimes I do miss that. Number 2, helping with troubleshooting things and chores around, camp and around the van. It's hard sometimes when you're relying just on yourself to get all the things done. It is definitely possible, but it is a little bit more difficult. Sometimes it would be nice just to have an extra pair of hands or somebody there to help. Number 3, conversation. I honestly end up talking to myself half the time. When traveling solo, it's just like I'm kind of verbally processing the day's events or going through something that I'm doing. I really have to be mindful of that when I enter back into civilization because I find myself still talking to myself on occasion. So there's that. Number 4, safety in numbers. So sometimes I feel like if I'm traveling with a partner, I feel less vulnerable or afraid while out and about. But honestly, there are amazing people in travel groups to meet up with. So that is always an opportunity as well. But when I'm traveling alone, sometimes if I'm feeling scared or something like that, I think, gee, it would be nice to have another person here because, again, safety in numbers. And number 5, hiking alone is not safe. So many places I have gone, I have felt limited on what hikes I could safely do. It would be nice to have a hiking partner to go on some of the longer hikes. So I usually will pick some of the shorter, safer hikes to do by myself, and I always don't go very far and have water and snacks and maps and all the things. But I feel like I have missed out on some of the more extensive hikes that I wanted to do in the areas that I visited. All right, so let's see. I'm going to go on to positive things. We're going to go on to the 5 positive things about traveling alone. Number 1, I get to plan my trip just the way I like it. Just going with the flow mostly, which might not be someone else's style or way to travel. So I don't overly plan my travels. I plan maybe the first day or two if I'm going for a long, extensive travel, just so I know that I have a place to stay the night. I do not like driving at night, so that I usually do. But other than that, I kind of just see how, the travels go and where it takes me. I like to have a lot of liberty in my plans, and I know that people, for the most part, don't really love to travel that way, so I think that might be a negative, but it's a positive when I'm traveling solo. Number 2, I feel restful and peaceful when I'm alone. No one is looking at me to do something for them. I feel like I just settle into my soul. I'm quiet, and I have a lot of clear thinking when I'm alone. Number 3, I have the ability to connect with nature when I'm alone and outside. I am much more aware of everything surrounding me when I'm by myself. And I think that goes back again to just being quiet and mindful. Number 4, meals. I can eat when and what I want with not having to worry about somebody else, like making a meal or wondering what they may want, things like that. I don't I eat very simply for the most part when I'm traveling. And a lot of times it'll just be, crackers and cheese and a little bit of something, vegetables and dip or something for lunch. Like I'm not making 3 meals a day when I'm traveling. And I like to just be able to have that freedom. And it's nice that I'm just worrying about myself with meals. Number 5, the last positive thing, I can think of more, but I came up with 5 so that it's, easy and not rambling. All right. 5 things that I do when I'm feeling lonely on the road, especially on some of the longer extensive trips. So number 1, I visit the local Facebook page on the town that I'm going to see if there's any local meetups or activity groups or, anybody planning fun things to do that are local. A lot of times a town or a city will have a local Facebook page where people post on there like activities and things like that. So I've done that a couple of times and have met up with locals and have done some fun things. So that's always an option. Number 2, I find the nearest visitor center and learn about the area and stuff to see and do. So the visitor centers are always great resources, and there's usually someone in there that really wants to chit chat about the area and tell you about all the activities. You can pick up pamphlets, things to do. And if I'm feeling like I need to be a little social, I'll go, join in on something. I'll do a piano night, or I'll do a float down the river, or whatever that town has going on. I'll join in and get my social I don't know, my social thing done, and then I'm ready to go back and camp after that. Number 3, a lot of times I'll visit a local brewery. I do enjoy a cold beer every now and then. But this one you have to be careful about because you don't want to necessarily tell everybody that you are there alone camping. So you have to kind of be mindful of who you're chit-chatting with and what you say. But I have met some really great people at breweries. And when I was in Wyoming, I actually got invited to go on a float. It was a 4th of July float with the locals, and it was probably one of the most fun things I've ever done. I was so grateful to go, and because it was a smaller town, it was all different age groups and couples and solo people and young and old, and it was great, and we just had such a good time. And then I, went on my way and did some more dispersed camping and was traveling back home. So number 4 is the local ranger station. So this is a great resource. When I pull into a new town or a new area that has like dispersed camping or BLM land, the first thing I do is go to the ranger station. And this does a couple things. I check in with the ranger. I usually will find one to talk to. I'll ask for maps. I ask for what are safe places for me to camp as a solo female traveler. I have them mark it on a map. I leave my name and an emergency contact number with the ranger. Now, most rangers will do this, especially if they know you're traveling alone. And they're great resources. They'll be like, these are the hikes that are safe for you. These are hikes that I wouldn't. These are hikes that are well traveled, that will be fine. I wouldn't go on this one because there was a grizzly bear, a week ago or whatever. They just give you a good sense of what's going on. And I feel like with that said, you can choose kind of what areas if you want to be social or if you want to be by yourself. And they're usually up for chatting it up anyway. So if you're feeling a little alone, you can go in and talk to the ranger. They're always happy to talk to you, and it's just a great resource. And I feel like it's a safe way to disperse camp, having someone know where you're at, and then also having maps, just like regular maps, because I'm telling you, when the Wi-Fi goes out and you don't have your phone, paper maps are where it's at. All right, let's see. Number 5. Calling or texting a friend or family member and sharing an amazing travel experience you've had. So a lot of times if I'm feeling lonely, I'll give my kids a call or a good friend and be like, guess what I did today? And I'll go over the day, or I'll send pictures of where I'm camping, things like that, and have a conversation and be able to share that with somebody that cares about you and is interested in what you're doing. That usually will help me, feel less alone, things like that. But, you're going to encounter both. You're going to encounter some loneliness because that's just like in regular life. You can be in a busy room and feel lonely. So those are just things that don't stop just because you're traveling alone. You're going to experience those things, but these are the ways that I have dealt with it in my travels. And I find that the positives outweigh the negatives for me because it's almost like a little reboot for me so that I can enter back into my busy life normally and feel like I'm recharged, right? And then it doesn't take long for me to start thinking about when my next trip is. So being alone for me is not, it's not hard. I know a lot of people always say when I tell them I travel alone, like, I could never do that. And yes, you can. I always say, yes, you can. You may not want to do it, but yes, you can do it. It's very doable. And there's so many positives. Just, I just picked 5, even feeling independent. Traveling alone, I have such a sense of independence. It really shows you what you're made out of. And the things that I've had to troubleshoot, it makes me feel really capable. So those are all positive. So please, if you're wanting to travel solo, I think it's a great experience. Even if you just do it once, I feel like it's beneficial. So I hope these helped you. Anybody, don't feel alone. There's opportunities to meet people out there, and there are good people out there. But most importantly, stay safe and enjoy your travels. Good night, everyone. All right, you guys. So I'm deciding to make a pot of coffee instead of doing the instant coffee. It's that kind of morning. I think I need some like really good, strong, hot coffee. So that's what we're doing. The sunrise is really pretty this morning. It's coming up over the hill right now, but it is a little cloudy, so it's not quite as spectacular as it was yesterday, but it's still beautiful. It's not as cold, so very much appreciating that. If you put too much water in this coffee pot, all the grounds will end up in the coffee. So it's always, a fine balance here. All right, so we're going to do this. Drop that in there. Put the lid on. All right, let's do this. Cool. I'm not going to mess around with instant coffee this morning. Oh yeah, that's what I'm talking about. Just tell you what an incredibly beautiful, what is this, morning it is. The sun just came up and there is no wind. It is so beautiful. This is why I van camp, for mornings like this. it's just so peaceful and so lovely out here. Got a little fire going. Yeah, this is what it's about, people. All right, you guys. I'm gonna try to get dressed and see what I have clean. Like I was saying before, I feel like I look like a crazy lady when I'm traveling because I just like, I don't know. I'm just not feeling like putting outfits together necessarily or spending a lot of time thinking about that, but maybe I need to do that, right? Because, yeah, your girl's looking crazy. All right, so we're gonna go into my clothes storage area. And I do use these packing cubes, which I'll list below. I got them on Amazon, and they're great because I can actually use all these cabinets for my clothes, which I did when I was traveling extensively. So yeah, I really have no excuse to have like funky clothes because I have room for them. All right, so let's see. I think I might have some leggings in here. Let's see. I might wear my athletic black leggings, right? Because that's really all I have right now. I have this option too, so this might look better with that. This cute little thermal that I got in Colorado. Maybe that's what I'll do. Look at that. It's got a mustache on it, right? Super cute. All right, so that's what we're gonna do. We're gonna do this, and we can still do our cute little lavender underneath there with the lavender pink corduroy. All right, done. Look at me. It's gonna be so cute. Anyways, I'm not sure what I'm gonna do today. My last night was last night here at the campground, so I do have to go figure out what I'm doing with the rest of my life. You guys, I will let you know what I decide, and we're off to the next adventure. Don't forget to share, like, and subscribe, and turn on those notifications. I really appreciate it.